everybody. You're very welcome to a new episode of On Location with Sean and Marco. That is not Marco you're seeing. That's Jon France. And I am Sean. Marco's not with me, but he's with me in spirit. And we like to cover events that make us think. And I think the whole point of ISC² is to get people to think about security in the business and how to help businesses grow safely and securely, and give them the tools to do that and demonstrate that they understand what's going on there. Not just security, but a lot of things ISC² is involved with. And they held a conference, ISC² Congress, and we're going to catch up with Jon to hear all about it. Jon, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, Sean. Appreciate the time taken to you and your listeners to cover a little bit of what I saw and what we saw at Security Congress this year.
Yep, absolutely. Before we get into that, two things. First, a few words about yourself and your role at ISC².
Yeah, well, as my name is on screen, it's Jon France. I am the Chief Information Security Officer at ISC2. Being a veteran of the tech industry for coming up 3 decades, so that the grey in my beard is age related, not just job related. But I've been around technology for a long time, pure play security probably for about the last decade, and at ISC2 for 4 years now as their inaugural CISO. So really enjoying the role. I do just to give you a little bit of, and your listeners and potentially viewers a little bit of background. I do the traditional role of the CISO, protect the organization from threat, whether that be internal or external. I also do quite a lot of work on behalf of members, so I advocate for cyber leadership as well. So as much as I do hands on the keys, as much as any CISO does, I also do hands on the industry, I suppose you could put it that way.
And both are very intertwined. I think it's hard to do one without the other.
Yeah, almost impossible, I would say.
Yeah. There you go. Well, perhaps we'll have a chance to talk about some of your insights in the role. If you want to join me on my podcast, Redefining Cybersecurity. But before, let's not distract at least myself there. Let's do this. Give me the rundown of ISC2. I call it ISC². Maybe that's the old school way of me referring to it. But give the elevator pitch for folks who, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with some of the certifications. I hold the CISSP, for example. But give us an overview of the organization so folks know who it is.
Yeah, no problem. ISC2, global organization representing cybersecurity practitioners and professionals, with the largest membership body of those professionals, totaling somewhere in the region of 275,000 certificated members globally. And we as an organization have the mission of a safe and secure cyber world, and we do that through education and certification. It's kind of the obvious ones that probably most people know us for. We do a lot of advocacy work as well, which is advocating for cyber leadership, cyber skills in the boardroom, as well as government and regulatory kind of advocacy as well, which is looking at obviously harmonized regulations as much as possible on a global footing, and making sure that the rules and regs are attacking the right things, or defending against the right things, I really should say, and something that the industry can really get behind. So that's a little bit about us. We've been around 30 plus years as an org, so probably one of the older professional bodies as well. And in fact, I think last year we celebrated 30 years of the CISSP certification. So that's been around a long time, but it's evolved over that time as well. So if you're not a member, come and have a look at us. If you are a member, glad to have you aboard.
Yep, definitely. It's a good group, and I'm happy to have cut my teeth early on with the certification I have, and I keep that current. And there are also local events as well that people.
Yeah, so we're chapter led as well. So we've got 100 and I'm going to say around 150 chapters worldwide. So there's probably one close to you if you're listening to this. So do look it up.
Absolutely. Kind of connecting back to the community is important. So, Congress. Sadly, I did not make it to Nashville. You made that journey from England to Tennessee, and you were there for the event. What were some of the highlights for you from that?
Good question. Well, Security Congress is always a highlight for me because not only do I get to see how the sausage is made, I get to see how it's presented on stage. So it was great to meet members there. I think 4,000 attendees, roughly, about half on site and half virtual, so mixed mode conference, tackling a whole bunch of topics. From the wonderful world of AI, because you can't not have something to do with AI at a conference these days, into my personal favorite, a bit about quantum readiness and what quantum compute's going to do to our landscape, and what we should do about that, all the way through to things like governance, risk, and compliance topics as well. We had 4 great keynotes through the 3 days, and I just sort of summarize them as best as I can. So we had Mr. Venables of Google fame. He used to be the CISO at Google until very recently. He was talking about from artisanal to industrial, basically moving cybersecurity from a kind of an artisanal kind of treatment to business to more industrial and scaling and efficiency type things. Then we had Alyssa Knight, ex-hacker, reformed hacker, now consults to lots of companies and governments. She was talking around broken object level access controls and how they can really hurt, and showed us some demonstrations, and then sort of ended up on AI versus AI and basically threat at machine speed and response at machine speed, which is an eye-opening talk. Then we had Mae Jemison, a female astronaut, really talking about going interstellar and about some of the problems that we may face doing that. So you think, well, what relevance is that to a cyber pro? Actually, she walked it really back and saying a lot of the problems we face out there and going interstellar we face on Earth. They're just problems, and problem solving comes to the fore, and a little bit about resilience and about creativity. And then ended up with Mr. Krebs sort of taking us through the wonderful world of cyber, what's going on, what's going on in the news, what sort of hackers are doing, state-sponsored actors. A little bit of insight from there. So 4 great keynotes, and I said a whole bunch of sessions. I can't remember how many days worth of content there was there across a number of tracks, but highlights for me, definitely bits on AI, a lot on quantum because that's my favorite topic. And of course, pre-conference, we ran some workshops on things like AI strategy, definition, and cyber leadership. So it was a full gamut of offerings there.
So, talk to me about well, I guess first, so many things there, right?
Too many.
So many levels as well, which is great. You have the hacker, you have the person looking at it from a from outside in, right? The astronaut looking
Yeah.
from astronaut looking from outside in, not necessarily thinking of it in terms of cyber, but thinking of it in terms of resilience. And Marco, we've had conversations with several folks familiar with the space programs, and we often hang our hat on or look at it from the perspective of it's not just being able to go somewhere, but be able to come back, right? So you have to plan for the full circle of the life cycle of whatever
Yeah.
the program or project is, and business is very much the same there. And so, touching on the community, and you mentioned the workshops and the leadership part of this. Um, Leadership's hard to teach, right? So, talk to me a little bit about people coming together and being able to share ideas and thoughts and best practices
So I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head. A lot of it is about coming together and sharing some stories. So whilst the workshops focus on some of the more traditional concepts of understanding the business and the traditional levers of business, things like finance and how to read a balance sheet and that kind of stuff, which cyber pros may not know how to do. So there are some practical elements, but there is also a big wedge of just being able to talk to a group of peers around common challenges that we face. And then really projecting that forward into things like getting out of the operational into the slightly more strategic. Um, and the course leader was Brandon Dunlap, who was also the MC on stage. Bit of a charismatic person. He's been around the world of consultancy and ISC2 for a long time, so he brings some sort of keen insights as well, and really moving the needle away from the almost the bits and bytes of our technical world into how do you speak business, because becoming a leader and managing people and managing into non-traditional areas, i.e. Communicating across the hallway as it were, is a key skill. Some of it's learned, some of it's experienced, and some of it can be taught. So it's a mixture of all of those. But we're definitely seeing a much bigger push from 18 months, 2 years ago. The SEC stopped just short of requiring cyber skills in the boardroom, but they made sort of that push. And incident reporting is now obviously, I think it's the 10K form. You've got to put something on in the US. So they put it more on a kind of regulatory stance, which kind of invites CISOs and senior leaders to lean in and really embrace that open door and start having those conversations. The quid pro quo is we don't go and confuse people. We go and talk the language of business, the language of risk. And one of my favorite adages is, security is it's not a treatment to business; it's an inherent part of it. So the wonderful world of cybersecurity, if you're just doing it at the end of a project and tick boxing it, you're doing it wrong. It's throughout the whole life cycle, and that requires being in business and being part leader of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, well, not of course, maybe when I think of technical certification like a CISSP, I immediately think practitioner. When I got mine originally, it was I was a product manager. I was building software, and I just come out of the role of QA where I was doing AppSec before AppSec was an official thing. And so very, in my mind, very practitioner focused, but obviously leadership is more security leader and CISO oriented. Give me a view of what some of the attendees are like. Are there a lot of practitioners? Are there leaders? Are there students? Who's there, and what are they going there for?
To Congress in general, we have all walks, I should say, not works. So right from the entry level, I'm just thinking about getting into cyber. My company's given me the opportunity to either come along virtually or physically. So a lot of offerings for sort of entry level bits and pieces. Yeah, the core is definitely practitioner. That's probably where we are best known in the world of certification. So a lot of our certifications are technical. They're not technology based, so they're not vendor aligned, but have obviously strong technical background in them. Competency based as well, so it's the application of knowledge to situation. And then all the way through to yes, we have CISOs, we have business leaders that come along to Congress as well. As lots of sessions pitched at either expert level or beginner level or leader level. So we do offer the smorgasbord across. And whilst we're known for certification, a big part of what we do is professional development. So it's not just about getting a cert and maintaining a cert. It is about maintaining current practice, current knowledge, and some of those disciplines are definitely business related. So yeah, attendees, all walks and all roles. You're quite right, probably. The majority are practitioner, but definitely a bunch of leaders there, and I'm very fortunate and privileged to be able to go and talk to them all whilst they're there, so I get lots of different perspectives.
And so you touched on AI and quantum. I'm kind of I'm loving using AI, but tired of talking about AI, and very intrigued by quantum. And so you mentioned those two that kind of stick out for you. Were there others that you heard folks say, "I'm glad we had a chance to learn more about this, to talk about this together"? Perhaps those two still came up to the top of the list, but is there anything else that kind of swirled around the Congress?
It's sort of general chit chat and sort of attack vectoring. identity-based attacks definitely were a theme. So
Because of the machine-to-machine stuff?
a
Or
little bit machine to
yeah,
machine, but the cost of mounting an identity compromise is probably fairly cheap these days with AI, with AI's help. And once you've compromised an identity, hey, guess what? You look like a legitimate user within a system, or a legitimate thing at least. And the normal tripwires of many security postures don't go off because it's an authenticated account. Alyssa Knight was sort of getting into a little bit of that. It's not just about um, authentication, it's about authorization as well. Sort of cutting off the bounds of what things can do. So I enjoyed a lot of the discussions around sort of identity-based attacks, what's going on in that world. A little bit on operational technology type things and zero trust. That was interesting to me. Again, based on identity, zero trust, sort of machine-to-machine type things, and really the machine speed of things. It's starting to speed up, and what that might do to things like security operations centers, which traditionally have been sort of human heavy in terms of crunching log files and looking for anomalies and indicators of compromise and then making a decision, um, or escalation to a decision point, and that being sort of human in the loop, and then sort of moving more to machine speed of, and I hate to use the term agentic AI, but on the good side of how it's going to help security operations, but how that's looking at the threat landscape and those threats that are coming in at machine speed. And AI has been, what we're tending to see and talk about is the role of an analyst or a SOC analyst is changing. There was a little bit of fear that a SOC analyst entry level position is going to get disintermediated. But I don't think that's the case. I think they'll change what they do, absolutely. Um, but AI and machine learning and deep learning are very good at sifting through lots of data and getting you to the right needle in the stack of needles, as it were,
right.
and getting to a decision point much quicker, and potentially taking some of those low hanging fruit decisions agentically. So sort of that was a key topic that I tuned into above and beyond just the kind of straight AI talk. Quantum, we saw a couple of different angles, briefings of sort of what is quantum, why is it going to be relevant, a little bit on getting quantum ready, what are the new standards that have come out in NIST and others, and what does preparedness look like? A lot of chat on when is Q day, when we're going to have to change by, and I think the
Right.
answer ranged from anywhere between 4 years and 40 years. No, flippantly, sort of 4 years and
Yeah.
10. But that window has shrunk. I remember
Yeah.
18 months ago, it was always a decade away. Um, so yeah, and I think the overall theme I got is the rapidity of change. If we just pick on AI, I'm sorry to keep doing this. It really only entered public consciousness probably 2.5 years ago, and look at what it's done in that time. It's been one of the fastest adopted and changing technologies that I've seen in my career, and I think quantum is going to be the same again.
Yeah. Yeah. Super powerful.
Yeah,
A couple more things I want to touch on as we
sure.
wrap here. The first is obviously education and training and knowledge, big part of what ISC2 is about, um, which we do that not just to feel good and be smart, but to actually apply our skills to the job that we have or want to get. And so I'm wondering your view of the state of the job market and the role of education and certifications and training as part of that. So what are people talking about in that sense?
Wow, big topic.
It is. You
Well, I
have
mean, we
one
could we
one
could spend
one
another half
sentence.
hour on that.
Yeah, we maybe we should, but maybe just kind of an overview there on that.
Yeah, a couple of things we're seeing. The general macroeconomic condition of the world is pressured at the moment, as we know. Lots of industries have seen layoffs. I'm not saying specifically in security, just general job layoffs. So the job market is pressured. We're still seeing, even though security budgets have come under pressure, and that sometimes translates through to a lack of resources to undertake the job. Um, there are definitely jobs out there. The nature of the jobs are changing somewhat. So a little bit of in the face of technology. I think what we're also finding is where we're having to do with more with less, or at least the same with less, we look for efficiency gains, and that's where tech can help us. In terms of sort of knowledge and skills, we've seen a slight shift away from some of the sort of core, I'm going to call them technical skills, into more things like critical and logical thinking, being able to communicate. They're not quite business skills, maybe they're more humanistic skills, and they are really good indicators of employability, which is if you can find someone that is a creative thinker, logical thinker, critical thinker even, you can train in some empirical knowledge. The quid pro quo is you will train it. And training isn't just formal, it's not just courses, it's experiential and on the job kind of training as well. So I think, a change in the job market, the macroeconomic conditions are not great for anyone, introducing a little uncertainty. But in times of uncertainty, if you've got one of those skills that's in demand, leverage it and teach it as well.
Yeah,
Malleable is probably the way I would put it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad he didn't say soft skills.
No, humanistic.
Humanistic skills, much better. So the final question, you can obviously add something if I failed to ask you something that was important, but kind of the next year's Congress and things leading up to that. What's the future of ISC², if you will? What's the positive view of where things are headed, and where can we missed those listening? Either you were there and got to enjoy it and participate, or you missed it. We want to go to the next one. Give us an update on where the next one and winner will be,
Yeah,
and
sure.
when it will
So
be.
next one is October again. We're moving from Nashville, so it was the Gaylord in Nashville to the Gaylord in the Rockies. So Denver is the core city. It's actually a little bit closer to Aurora, so up in the Rockies, which would be
Oh, yeah.
nice. I love the fall weather, so sort of crisp sun over the horizon. I'm looking forward to that from the location aspect. In terms of content, what we're going to see there, well, who knows? We start gathering. I mean, we kind of do have some themes in thought and going out there, but we do for call for papers. So if you want to come and speak on a topic, come onto our website and look out for the call for papers. But I'm sure in there we will look at the evolution of technology and where that's gone. I'm sure AI is going to be part of it. Quantum will be a bigger part of it, I'm sure, than it was this year. Keynotes, we don't decide until much closer, but we always get stellar lineups on interesting subjects. What I'm really looking forward to next year, meeting, seeing members, sharing war stories, really networking, talking to some of the chapter leads, what's going on in their local geographies. So it sort of really is a little bit of a melting pot, great place to come, not only to have a good time, to learn some things and really to share experiences. So always an exciting venue, and line up, come and be a part of it.
Yep. I hope to make that a reality. Denver is great. Aurora is great, actually. I've had a family friend that lived there for a long time. So looking forward to seeing you in October in Denver for the next Security Congress. And if you don't want to wait till then, find a local chapter
Find a
and
local chapter. I
connect with
mean,
folks.
there's a whole bunch of stuff coming on. We also do some sort of local events. Actually, Secure London's next week. So if you're in the London area, do look that up. I think registration is still open. You can still come along, but we do them around the globe as well. So look out for
Yep.
one of the Secure events.
Yep. Perfect. And we'll have to figure out how to be part of those as well, and connect with those groups. John, it's fantastic to meet you and chat with you, and I hope to do that in person next year, if not sooner. And congratulations on a successful Security Congress. And thanks everybody for listening and watching this episode with On Location with Sean and Marco. Marco's actually in the background, so we're going to let him in and have a chat with him after we're done recording here. But go to itspmagazine.com/on-location for all of our conference and event coverage, including security conference and other stuff happening throughout the year. And we'll see everybody soon, either virtually or in person. Take care.
Thanks, Sean.